What's up, dog team? This is Harry Scott, Harry O, Spring 89, a 1991 graduate of Savannah State College, now known as Savannah State University.
Okay, the throwback, SSC. We can call it that.
That's right, that's right.
All right, Corey, right in the middle of it, ain't you?
Yeah, so hey everybody, my name is Corey Robinson. I am the first graduating class in June of Savannah State University. Graduated in 1997, majored in sociology.
Okay, appreciate that. All right, G.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Gregory Brown. I'm Spring 14 initiative, the Alpha Gamma chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a 2015 graduate of Savannah State University, and I majored in criminal justice.
Okay, so y'all see we got these fellas from all the way across the board. If y'all ain't been paying attention and listening, I'll get you with mine right quick. I graduated 2006, so we all the way through the years. We going from the 80s up to almost present. So today we just gonna chop it up about homecoming, just talk how the differences are from back in their eras all the way up to current, how this thing used to be. Sure, everybody who went to an HBCU can relate. Spend from the top. Harry, now you were at Savannah State in the late 80s and early 90s. Just starting with you, then we'll roll through. Just tell me what you miss about homecoming that's been lost since the time that you were in Savannah.
Well, I guess one of the biggest things that I miss, and it's been bantered about amongst alumni for a while, but that would be the tailgating or the experience that used to occur on the Rock after homecoming. Back when I was in school, we didn't really tailgate down at the stadium, and everything was centered around the university circle. I'm not saying that things are worse or whatever. It's just different, and that's one of the biggest things that I can say what has changed during my era.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I really, I guess we were at the tail end of homecoming being on the yard. But another thing that I miss about homecoming is I think in a way social media has ruined the homecoming experience because you see everybody all the time on social media,
That's a good point.
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever. And so it's not that element of coming back and seeing somebody you haven't seen in 5 years or 10 years to catch up because you know everything about them from social media. And so I think because you see people all the time, people don't come back as much and really fellowship. So that's what I miss about the homecoming experience.
It's interesting that Corey brought up the social media aspect. Social media, obviously, I was beginning school whenever social media was booming, all the different social networking sites. You got your Facebook, your Instagram, your Snapchats, and just kind of just went on from there. So I grew up in the time I matriculated through college in the time when social media was a big deal. So I will say the biggest thing that I've noticed is just the collective excitement of the student body. Like throughout the week, as opposed to just on the day of the homecoming game and the tailgating. I remember come Sunday, homecoming week, people jumping out their cars, screaming, "Homecoming!" And I don't hear that. I went on the yard probably. It's probably about 2 years ago. I went on the yard, and just in the excitement of the homecoming season, I shouted "homecoming" out of my window. People were looking at me like I was crazy. It was like Monday or Tuesday. So I think that's the biggest difference that I've seen. It's just not. It doesn't seem to be as festive throughout the week as it is as I was used to having it when I was in school.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know from the time that I was there, I think one of the bigger things is it seemed like the step show and the after party after the tailgate and the game seemed like that was like the major event. Now everybody got day parties, everything going on before, after, and just like Corey was saying with all the social media. I mean, when we was in school, Facebook existed, but the like the smartphones and stuff didn't. If you took a picture, you had to take it back to the room, hook it up to the computer, upload it with the dial up, and that was gonna take forever. It wasn't nothing happening in real time. So I mean, that it was all what we did like a weeks or something ago. So I mean, that kind of that really did change the dynamic of stuff. But yeah, like for me, man, it's that step show. I mean, I used to be in it, but so I'm gonna jump into the next one with y'all. How much weight did the football team actually winning the homecoming game have on the experience while you were in school?
Well, back when I was in school, I think we were kind of spoiled because it was in the heyday, I believe, in the during the time of football team. I think that time span was probably their most successful, and we took a lot of winning for granted. We still, you wanted to win homecoming, but it wasn't like everything rested on winning the homecoming game. Back then, I mean, it was over. It was over by halftime. You knew what the outcome was going to be.
The football team winning really didn't have impact on how our homecoming was. What we did, everybody went down to the stadium for the game, had a good time. We didn't care if we won or lost. And then we all went back up to the circle to just hang out and have a good time. So it didn't matter, what the football team did. The football team, I think maybe during my era, the most wins that they maybe had in the season was 6 or 7. So it's not like, we were expecting, to just be this powerhouse. And I want to say some of those homecomings, we played Fort Valley, or either Albany State, who were really dominating the SIAC, at least in the state of Georgia, I should say. So now, homecoming, the football team didn't really have an impact on our homecoming experience because we were going to have a good time anyway.
Well, as a football player, obviously my homecoming experience weighed pretty heavily on the outcome of the games. But I will say in the 3 years that I was playing, we only won the homecoming game, I believe it was my sophomore year. The rest of them were close games, but, obviously, the 1 year that we did win it, going back to class, after the homecoming weekend, I feel like everybody felt a sense of accomplishment, not just the football players, but I felt like the faculty, the rest of the student body, they were all high fives and handshakes, and everybody was just excited that we won the game. And it was probably the only game we won that year too, so that was probably another incentive to be a little happy. But like the guy said, one thing about Savannah State, win or lose, we're gonna have a good time. So I personally, like I said, I have probably a skewed perspective, but for a football player, obviously, it's important to win a game, especially homecoming, because you just want to do that for the school.
Man, I hope I got this right, because I know this is one of my favorite concerts at Savannah State, and I'm kind of foggy on it being during homecoming, but man, Cameo performed at Savannah State after the game on the field. Yeah, man, that was crazy good time. It was like, I think it was SOS might have been with them, but I vividly that Cameo performance was awesome on the field. So after the game, I mean, they had this structure where the high jump area is at, and then it converted into a stage. Everybody went on the field, and yeah, we just had a great party right there.
Well, from my time, I actually have been thinking about this a while. We throughout the years, and we've had Silk to perform in their heyday. Outkast came and performed at homecoming. We also had, you know, the Florida connection of 69 Boys, this and that. And then we had Cut Close. A lot of people don't remember the group Cut Close, but they performed as well at homecoming. So I remember them from those groups performed over 3 of the 4 years. I can't remember who performed uh, my
My
senior
senior
year
year,
though.
though,
Those
those
groups performed
performed
between my
between my
freshman and
freshman and
junior year.
Sound like one was a little baby freak Nick, huh? Who came to perform homecoming that you can remember for yours, G?
I think the most memorable performance from around my time, I think there was 2013. It was Big Sean and Ace Hood. They performed like the same concert. That was with Big Sean. I think the year before that's when he released one of his debut albums. Either the year before or 2 years before. So he had a whole bunch of top 100 hits going on at the time. I never thought we would get an act that big. But hearing Corey Harry, apparently it was foreign to have, big time acts at Savannah State. But I was looking at the concert roster for this homecoming. I don't know who any of those people are, but I'm sure they're big names to some people, some of the younger crowd.
Homecoming is one of those times that I definitely plan. I tell my second, when we're getting together, give our dates so we don't have a conflict. I'm either taking off from Wednesday on or Thursday on. And I'm looking forward to seeing my frat brothers come in town, hanging out on the yard. But it's definitely one of the things I plan for every year.
So for me, planning for homecoming doesn't start in October. For me, it starts in like May. Whenever I find out what the dates are, that's when I put in my time. That's when I go ahead and rent my car. That's when I go ahead and book my hotel. And then I buy my plane ticket like 2 months later so that it's already taken care of. So for me, it's once I get the dates, that's the priority. And I just hope there's no scheduling conflict for the most part, unless it's something dealing with my child, where I will not miss homecoming. So I start months in advance.
For me, the month of October is like basically dedicated to homecomings. When I was in school, when we were planning to go to other chapters or other universities, generally that planning would start in October, sometimes in September. We would try to hit just about a school school per weekend, just to experience the homecomings at different universities. So then after I graduated, homecoming planning, I can't do it every weekend like I used to, but I try to still go to one or two outside of Savannah State every year. So October, November, that's when I'm normally planning, some of my weekend trips to you name a school. I'll probably try to have gone there, been there before in this area. So homecoming, October, that's big planning time for me. Like I said, just enjoy the homecoming atmosphere, not only in Savannah, but other places as well.
I'm gonna tell you, for me, it was the instructors. I just felt that I know in my career I would not be where I am now without Swanee Richards. And that was a professor that saw something in me, encouraged me to do bigger and better things, and introduced me to various extracurricular academic activities, debate teams, stuff of that nature. And honestly, I don't know if I could have gotten that outside of an HBCU, because I believe they push you and prop you up. It's not it's not an academic meal. It's truly in a family, and they're trying to identify those individuals that's going to represent our culture and represent our culture well. So I believe in the HBCU experience, not putting any other institutions or organizations down, but I believe that they are always looking for our next leaders, and in business, religion, government, they're trying to put people in place, and I think that's part of all of their missions and charters. I just believe in the HBCU.
So for me, there are two things. The first thing is the thing that I love most is the lifelong friends that I've made at Savannah State. We have all of the same shared experiences, and I mean, I've met people who, for I've graduated 25 years ago, still in touch, still can reach out if I need anything. And for those who I haven't seen in a while, we can pick up wherever we left off, the lifelong friends. And then secondly, kind of alluding to what Harry said, was the career path. So now I'm on a journey to one day hopefully be the president of an HBCU. And that dream was born at Savannah State for me when I got on campus, when I got to see, the good work and the mission of Savannah State and what it was doing for Black people and how it was helping to propel us to the next level. And I wanted to be able to one day contribute to that, to maybe be able to find the next Martin Luther King Jr. or Sojourner Truth or Frederick Douglass or Malcolm X. I wanted to be able to provide an environment where I'm able to nurture that, because I felt like it was nurtured at Savannah State for me. And so those are the two things that I love the most about my decision to attend an HBCU, Savannah State.
Okay. Corey for president. What year of the campaign?
2026.
Y'all mark that down. All right, what about you, Greg?
Well, to be honest with you, I've told the story a few times. I hated Savannah State when I first got there. I did. I genuinely hated that. I was surprised I lasted longer than 2 semesters. But I made a conscious decision that, after that second semester, I said, well, either I can make the best out of this opportunity, or, I can continue to mope around and be upset that, the football team's not doing as well as I'd like us to be doing. And, I wish I was a little bit closer to family. I'm from the Atlanta area, so I mean that was I think it was the hardest thing for me to get used to when I first got there. So I said I played my sophomore year, my junior year, and then my senior year. After some hiccups in the classroom, I was forced to focus on the classroom, so I was no longer playing football my senior year. But I was able to experience the university like I hadn't experienced it before. As an athlete, you get so caught up, basically 6 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. You're football, student athlete, something or another. You're either in class, or you're in training sessions, or you're at practice, or you're on the road traveling to a game. So you don't get to have the experience that a lot of the students have. So my senior year, when I was no longer on the football team, I was able to experience the university for what it was as a whole, and it was truly something special. Kind of like what Harry was saying, there was a particular professor that, obviously I was a little depressed about not being able to play that senior year, but I had a professor that made me look at it in a different light. Instead of looking at it as a failure, he basically was asking me, what am I going to do next? You can sit there and cry about it, or you can make yourself better. And I actually ended up in the same career track that he was on before he became a professor, just because he motivated me, and he provided that mentorship to me. Honestly, without him, I don't know where I would be to this day. So Savannah State afforded me a lot of life lessons that I still apply to my daily life to this day. Most importantly, I developed a lot of mentorships and friendships that have endured well beyond my college years. So I love Savannah State. It was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. And hopefully some more people decide to go along that same route. I like the hop. I like the grill too. You know, we're all around AG, but
Yeah.
You know, I prefer hot, but I like to sweat and make everybody. Well, I guess the grill guy makes everybody happy too. So who knows? Whichever one I needed to do at the time, I guess.
Well, my Shatter brothers probably would not believe it, but I was actually on the hop team. We did win some competitions. I'm gonna learn this new Fandango stuff that's going on right now. I don't know if that's hopping, gliding, stepping, what I don't know. But I was like I was on the hop team and I was a sous chef. I had to clean the chicken.
Well, we were forced to do both. So we were hopping and on the grill. So no real preference there.
Oof.
St. Patrick's for me.
Yeah, I have to go with St. Patty's.
So I have to be the contrarian. Neither, because when I was in school at Savannah, I never partook of St. Patrick's Day. I never went downtown. Yeah, and then Cinco de Mayo, I didn't really find out about that until I was really out of school, and so I didn't drink. So I didn't see any fun in these holidays. So neither for me.
It's not like St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you know, in my days in college, we used to take part, and now, you know, older me, yeah, I find out when St. Patrick's Day is, and I don't go that way.
and I go straight to it.
Well, you can't find Harry online. I'm detached, bro. I'm not nowhere.
Right, that's where you find him. All right, so for me on Facebook, you can find me Corey D. Robinson. I actually will be wearing this shirt if you see the picture. Shameless plug. On Instagram, site Dr. Rob is my Instagram, and then on Twitter at Future HBCU Prez, PREZ. So that's how you can find me on social media.
Big Rube, Prez.
You can find me at Homecoming. But no, my Instagram is G_7_B. Pretty much that's the only thing. And I rarely check it, but I'll check it after this, see if my followers will know.
Live and direct with Famous Feez. That's what they call me. Y'all make sure you stay tuned in, and always love your HBCU. What I ain't on me, what that's about. What I ain't on me, what I